Resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that it is not feasible for the city to acquire the Malden Hospital site or a portion thereof at this time. Councilor Spatafora.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. I've talked to several of the residents, and I actually, Councilor Mathis and myself had a chance to talk this right before the council meeting. I'm going to do a motion to table and work on getting some more updated and accurate numbers that were received in the last council meeting of the year, and report back.
Okay, we have a light, Councilor DiMaria.
Thank you very much. I also concur with Councilor Spatafora to table this. I am hoping for maybe a 90-day table on this. What we have in Malden is we have a passionate community, we have renewed commitment from Hallmark Health, and we have interested developers, all seeking to do good at Malden Hospital. I've always believed that if we work together, something great will prevail. Not good, but great. So I do concur with Councilor Spatafora, and I would table this.
Councilor Kinnon.
Yes, and thank you. I would ask that you consider sending it into finance so that we might do a feasibility study, and we'll set up a committee to do that feasibility study out of finance, because I think that it's clearly a financial issue which would need to be tackled. I'll be more than happy to lead that charge with Councilor Matheson in the committee. So,
Councilor Matheson.
Thank you, Madam President. With all due respect to my colleague, I'm adamantly opposed to this resolve for a number of reasons, but most particularly the timing as well as the subject matter. We just had a citywide ballot question on this very issue. A lot of people did support the CPA specifically as a funding mechanism to help this portion of the city with this problem site, and it holds a lot of opportunity for the people of Malden. I understand that there is a lot of things that we need to study, including demolition costs and things of that nature. Councilor Spatafora and I have talked about that. However, a lot of work has gone into this, and I think that this particular resolve is very premature and not something I support. But I would support taking a harder look in the Finance Committee, and I have full confidence in Chairman Kinnon in taking really drilling down on these numbers and what it means to the people of Malden and giving it its fair due. Thank you.
Councilor D'Angelo or Councilor Anderson? I'm not sure. Councilor Anderson.
thank you, Madam President. Some of the difficulties of following some of my eloquent speakers here that come before me is they kind of steal your thunder as to the points you want to make. But clearly, when I look at this resolve, I see it running parallel with what we've talked about with the CPA and other things, that we just need to step back and look at this parcel of land in the same look as we're looking at the citywide CPA. So clearly, I'm in support of stepping back, taking a look at this, referring it to finance, and looking at it at the same time as we look at the CPA. Makes all the sense in the world. I'm glad to see that the sponsors of this, the sponsor of this, has consented to and agrees to table this until that time. Thank you very much.
Councilor D'Angelo.
Thank you, Madam President. And I take a slightly different approach. I agree with everything that's been said here, by the way. But just to let the people at home know, the people in the audience, this is a very difficult issue. If this was easy, it would have been solved. This has been on the table for 15 years now, something. So it's a very challenging issue. I hope people can understand and have patience. We don't even own the property. So, Councilor Spatafora raises a good point. I mean, we don't own it. We have control over what can be zoned there, so that's our leverage. So this is not an easy issue. If it was easy, it would have been solved by now. So I definitely support it going into finance and trying to figure out a way to be able to get this moving. I think we need to loop the administration in at some point and see if they can give us some bandwidth to help with it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor D'Angelo. Okay. Councilor Condon.
Thank you, Madam President. Myself and Ryan, we were able to attend a few meetings, and the few that we did, it's clear that we have some major projects ahead of us, namely the police station and City Hall, and I'd be interested to know exactly where we are in our bonding capacity to even consider purchasing such a huge parcel of land. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that we can still listen, we can still investigate, we don't have to jump into it with both feet, and try to move forward for a resolution of that particular property. So with that, I would certainly would, table it, vote to table it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Condon. Councilor Spatafora.
Yeah, I just want to shed a little light on the rationale, and again, some of the things we unfortunately can't talk about. Councilor Matheson did a stellar job as far as having the opportunity for the city to take a very quick look at that property from an appraisal standpoint. The last meeting of the year, a number came in, and I think that's what my thought process was on tabling, to really get a good handle on that number. The number came in, while it might be a quick review, the number was staggering from a demolition cost. And I think everybody in the audience here, and nobody here on the council is an expert, but unfortunately, I think the problem is we know things sometimes that the average resident doesn't. Right now, we are in the midst of building a new city hall, a new police station, and the unfortunate reality is anytime the city or a municipality does something, it goes up 20%. So I've heard ranging numbers in demolition that range from small dollars to significant dollars. And at this point in my career as a city councilor, the amount of money that would be spent just to make that site clean was something I don't think the residents would be too happy to. Now, being that said, I think we'll take another look at those numbers, and I think going to finance and looking at Councilor Matheson and Councilor Kinnan both on there will do a great job on those numbers, but it was no intent to say we are still not interested. I think Councilor Condon brings up several good points. And we will look at that. But the conundrum for me is, they have not been a good neighbor for quite so long. That property is in desperate need of public safety equipment, meaning they are out of code, and there's a court case right now that's going on. And I would like to pursue that, but I think it's tough if we're looking to either purchase, lease, or do something, because it's almost, in my opinion, collusion. We're trying to make them do something. In the meantime, we're trying to make them try to buy it. Neither here nor there. I want to make that property safe for the residents who live right near there right now. My biggest fear is there's a fire on that property, and the firemen go into that building, and anybody who's ever walked that property, it is a nightmare. My intent is to get that building down, because I don't think they can bring it up to code. So I will continue fighting for that to happen, but in the meantime, we can send this to finance and look at the numbers hard and see what our options are as a community. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor DeMaria.
Thank you for the second time. I appreciate that. Thank you. While I do agree with it going to finance, and through the chair, may I ask the chair of finance if we could possibly put a time limit on the review, and once we come to some conclusion, we go back to the possible, bring everybody together at a table and see how we can work together. Maybe a 90-day period?
Oh, sorry. Excuse me, do I have Councilor O'Malley or Councilor Kinnan here? Which one?
He's trying to respond.
Oh, wait, oh. Okay, I'm sorry. Councilor Kinnan, please respond.
Yes, it is through the chair, it is a very complex issue, financially, structurally, and whatnot. I could not sit here and give you an exact time. Maybe in a few weeks I could do that. I can guarantee you this: the numbers that you'll get out of the Finance Committee will be accurate and give you a straight amount as to what could happen, how things could be structured, or if it's simply impossible for us to financially handle. But to nail down a date here tonight without having all that detail that we would need would be impossible. Thank you.
And leaving the mic on, Councilor O'Malley,
Thank you, Madam President.
for the first time.
I would like to move to amend the resolution by adding that we investigate the deed and title of the property, mostly to see if there's any title restrictions on it or any circumstances that the property would have ever reverted back to city based on it no longer being used for the benefit of the city of Malden.
Okay.
So I don't know how we exactly formulate that into.
Councilor Matheson.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to say that through partnerships, great things are possible. And to illustrate this, one of the great new developments that happened in this city, on the east side of the city, was Richard Howard Park. And this park, for illustration, cost about $8.5 million in hard and soft costs. And this came through a great collaboration, partnerships with schools, $2 million from schools, $5 million city bond, $1 million from CDBG, $400,000 park grant, $190,000 state grant, and a land grant from the shopping center. So I don't think that we're asking for the city to entirely purchase this property. What I'm saying is partnerships can make this monumental project possible in a way that delivers land for the public benefit. And we heard from members of the public, 79% in Ward 3, 77% citywide want to see some public land up there, and it would be a tremendous development for the city of Malden, something that I think we owe it to the citizens to fight for. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to table. Councilor Spatafora. We have a motion to table, and we also, it seems like you would like to refer this to committee. Would you clarify, please, what? Send it to finance? Okay. Okay, so on Councilor Spatafora's motion.
Address Councilor O'Malley's motion first.
Oh, Councilor O'Malley.
I can clarify the amendment. So what I was looking to do is to amend this resolve so that in addition to investigating the financial implications that it has on the city, I'd also like to investigate the deed of the property, how it was transferred to what was once Malden Hospital, and what the current situation is. I know that it has changed hands to private companies. It may potentially change back to public if the funds are there. I'm just requesting that we move to move to amend the resolves in addition to investigating the deed and title restrictions on that property. I could work with.
Do we have a second?
I'll give it a second. I'll give it a second. Yes.
I guess I do have a question. How we would go, do we have the funds to go about doing that research? Which is something that you'll have to look at in finance.
Correct.
Because there is a cost to that. And I'm not sure we're in a position at this point to actually
We'll consider it.
find those funds. But you'll consider that. Okay.
Understood.
So on his
Thank you.
motion to amend.
On Councilor O'Malley's motion to amend, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It has been amended. Now, on Councilor Spatafora's motion. Yes, Councilor D'Angelo.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would ask Madam Clerk, so we passed a referendum. That referendum was non-binding. Is this going to impact that at all? That's my point of order.
Not at all.
Thank you.
That's a point of inquiry.
Point of inquiry. Thank you.
The answer is still not at all.
On Councilor Spatafora's motion to refer this to finance, all those in favor? As amended, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? This matter will be referred to finance.